yourselves and maybe tell them a few of your roles like in Apex.
Hi! What's up, everybody? My name is Meli Grant. I also go by Melizand or Mel. I am a voice actor. I voice Catalyst in Apex Legends. I also voice Catella in Dragon Ball Super and Pang in Monkey Kid and Demaria Yesta in Fairy Tail. I'm the new Kamatari in the remake of Kenshin on Netflix right now. And I'm also a VTuber, and you can find me at Melizand on Twitch. I stream 6 days a week, and I curse a lot.
Hi, I'm Justine Huxley. I am the voice of Watson in Apex Legends. I also voice Sheta in Sword Art Online, Little Red Riding Hood in Disney's Goldie and Bear, and also Shoelace, the little kitty cat, in Kipo on DreamWorks. And this is
me. Hi, I'm Erica Luttrell. I've been an actor since I was 2, so I've done a lot of things. Anywhere from, if we're talking voice, The Magic School Bus, to obviously Bangalore in Apex Legends, Emily Colvin, Dishonored 2, Female Witch Doctor. I'm not gonna, things, whatever you know. I know what you know. Whatever, it's fine.
You have IMDb for a reason.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
You can look that up.
I sometimes have to check
Apex, but also I didn't know that you were in Steven Universe, and I watched the heck out of that.
Did you not know
without
that till
realizing
now?
That I was listening to you.
Like here? Like you didn't know
here.
it till this
Like
con?
I found out this weekend.
Like after we were at Shake Shack at the airport?
Yes. After Shake Shack, I was like, wait, I've listened to you like crazy in that show.
Heck. All right.
Also, do I just have a big Apex logo on my face? Because this is like,
You want me to turn off the projector?
Yeah.
I could slide it over. If I look like abstract art.
That's what all the cool kids are doing these days. So, I'm sure the question you'll get a lot is like, how did you get in? Like, when was that moment when you're like, I'm gonna voice act? Like, that's what I want to do, and that's what I want to be. And was it a process, or was it a eureka moment? Like you saw, I could do that. Like, what kind of opened that door and made you want to get into this?
I auditioned for the Magic School Bus as a 12-year-old child, and I got it, and then I did it, and it was fun. But as far as the actual choice of it, I would say that happened sort of in my 20s when I leaned a little bit back from the on-camera world of it all, which I also do, and just started booking voice through my representatives, and was like, oh, it reminded me, or even introduced me to what it is I love about acting. Because the voice world is it's like you in a booth, and the character. You also have a lot more to block out, there's like 90 people on the set. There's like camera people, there's lighting, there's, and you gotta just, whereas in the voice world, you kind of get to just be there. And there's no additional work to be done to keep your vulnerability kind of here and activated for people to be moved by. So, long answer, but that.
Yeah. I got into voice acting because I started also as a child actor doing commercials when I was 6, and loved doing theater, and started doing theater in middle school and high school, went to performing arts high school, went to college and majored in acting as well, did a lot of theater in New York, and did a national tour of a musical, and then I moved back to LA, which is where I'm from. And my cousin, who is a professional voice actor and does a lot of promos and a lot of commercial voiceover, he said, you can sing, you do a lot of different accents. I think that you would be really good in voiceover, and it might be something to supplement trying to do on camera and theater. And I just loved it so much. I took classes, I made a commercial demo, I got an agent, and I thought, I would rather do this than on-camera acting. This is just so much more fun for me because I'm not stuck in a very specific type of how I look. I can play a 6-year-old. I can play a 65-year-old. I was playing a dancing egg one time. I've played the old woman who lives in a shoe. It's so much fun to play. I love doing creature voices, and so it's been really fun using my imagination for all these different characters that I definitely don't look like at all.
Dude, just before you this makes me think when you say you were, what was it, an egg?
An egg,
Dancing
egg.
My wife is always, I will just sometimes, just to give her like a laugh, come out of the booth after doing an audition, I'm like, I was a burnt piece of paper today, or whatever it may be, And she's like, cool, makes no sense, but good. You go, honey.
Gosh, I've been acting my whole life, but not professionally. My dad worked in technical theater, so I was always around stages, but my parents protected me from a lot of that. And if I was ever in a situation where there was like the agent in the audience, I would find out like 2 years later that they had like shooed him away.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, like no, she's going to school. She's getting through school.
Wow.
And then I ended up, inevitably the bug bit me anyway. So I was at university studying theater and screen acting, thinking maybe I would do television or film. And then I was at something like this. I was at Lubbock-Con on the East Coast, and going to see one of my heroes at a panel somewhere. It was Tony Oliver, who is still a mentor of mine. And I grew up a huge Power Rangers fan. And so I heard, I didn't watch a ton of anime. And so I'd heard that, like, oh, this was the guy that I guess he, like, voiced the sword in Power Rangers. That's cool. And I, like, dressed up as one of my favorite anime characters from one of the shows I did watch. And I showed up and didn't realize I was dressed as him in the audience in the front row. But that panel was my first exposure to voice actors. And I don't know, now that I'm working in this industry, it feels like a no-brainer. But at the time, I was in this headspace of, like, if I saw a cartoon character on television, or if I had like a toy that made a sound, I didn't realize that was a person that did that. That just wasn't acting to me. And then this like blew my mind that this was like a whole extra avenue. And it was already my favorite thing. I watched a lot of animated shows. I love that medium for storytelling. And I play a ton of video games. And so I'm like, oh, my favorite thing in the world is also a thing that I can do as an actor. I just grabbed the wheel of my career and hard steered towards voiceover, and I never looked back. And the rest is history. I don't know. I stopped at one point in the middle, worked retail for 10 years, gave up, and then at some point my heart caught up with me, and I freaked out and had like a third life crisis, and moved across the country and decided to finally give it a shot, and got kind of lucky, I guess. I must be doing something right because I'm in a video game. and it's a pretty big one.
You know, it's funny. This makes me think of my scrolling last night, because that's what one does. And my algorithm fed me a video about the guy Gallagher. He played a little boy in, you know, you're nodding. Do you know?
I think so.
Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
That guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
That kid, yeah. And they were like, oh, and where did he go? And what's he doing? Anyway, long and the short of it is, he's doing voice. Didn't know that. I haven't worked with him. Sometimes you don't even know who you work with, because half the time you're working by yourself in voice. So, but they were like, he hasn't gone anywhere. He's actually like really successful as a voice actor. And here he is with his kids, and he's raising a family now. And he's doing, and I was like, oh, I resonate with that. Like, I resonate with how sort of beautiful that is. Like, you can still be a performer, but also be a little like anonymous, you know. And he clearly loves his family, and he's like a family, you know, but he's also getting to perform without all the, you know, bidgy-bodgy around it. Which, you know, and I've been on sets, like I did like a commercial, an on-camera commercial, and I remember it's like, it'll be that moment where, you know, someone finds out you do voice or whatever, like the security guard, or maybe he was the medic on set, and he's like, oh, you do, what kind of voice? What kind of voice do you do? It's like, oh, you know, like games, cartoons. Oh, games, that's cool. What kind of games? What kind of games do you do?
I love this voice.
What kind of games?
I like this guy.
And I was like, I mean, a lot of things. I don't know. I mean, like, one of the things I do most consistently is, you know, Apex Legends. Oh, wow, okay, yeah. What's your character? And I was like, bang, oh, you. Okay. I gotta call my buddy. I don't know. Okay, so, wow, that's so good. You know, but you get to be that, you know, and be impactful to people and so on, but like, not necessarily, it doesn't disrupt the rest of everything, which I think is kind of cool.
Unless you're on Critical Role, in which case.
Well, they're doing stage shit, you know, they're all out in there, but yeah, you know.
But that is something that is really freeing and liberating about this medium, like this style of performance in voiceover, because, you know, I've done a lot of stage work, and you are trained to isolate that mechanism and tune out what's happening out there in the world, and just like live in your imagination space, like acting off into the void.
Theater is terrifying to me.
I loved it, but it's a learned behavior. And then I try it on camera, and that's weird because and you've done a lot of that, but like they'll take the camera and they like, it's like you're going to the dentist and they just shove this thing like, and you're supposed to somehow look past this and pretend you're staring into the eyes of your lover while this thing is like right here. And
Dude, try performance capture.
I'm gonna drive you crazy with my physical comedy.
No.
I love microphone physical comedy, but it's usually a mic that I paid for, and so if
Fair.
we mess it
If
up,
you break it, you'll break my heart.
exactly.
That would be sad. But I was thinking about this moment, your physical comedy moment, but also just camera in your face or whatever, performance capture.
Hated it.
So in like Horizon Forbidden West, I had a kissing scene. Okay, so you want to talk about stuff in your face. So this, I mean, performance capture is somewhere in the middle, right?
Right, well,
'Cause
you've got a
you're-
metal arm coming around the side of your neck,
Yeah,
and
you have
you've got a
an
bunch of polka dots on your...
HMC head-mounted camera. So you have a little helmet, and then you have like a little arm, like you're a Borg.
And your Kingdom
basically.
Hearts shoes with like the ping pong balls on them.
You look like a Borg person, and you got the thing, and you're, and I literally had to execute like a romantic kiss, and so they're like, okay, so like, how are we gonna do this? Okay, so I think, okay, we're gonna try it. We'll do the kiss. Okay, so we'll take the helmets off. We'll do the actual kiss, and we'll tape that. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the cameras on, and then you're gonna sort of mime it. Okay, so we did the real thing, and then after we were like, and I'm like, I don't know what you're getting. I don't know if this is good, but here we are. Both of us, cameras out to here. That didn't, and at some point you're like they're hooking, like it's ridiculous.
But to my point,
Yes.
you don't have to worry about that when you're doing voice. You can be looking right at the microphone while you're acting, and you're not messing up the performance for everything. You don't end up accidentally having like your office moments where you're like, oh fuck, I just looked at, sorry, like, oh crap, I just looked at the camera. Like, cool, we just ruined all of that. We have to start over. And you can do weird things too. Like you can be at home recording for a AAA game in your pajamas. You can be in the booth, and if it helps you find the character and live in that moment, you can close your eyes and vibe your way through the lines, and it doesn't look weird because that doesn't matter. Only what matters is what's coming out of your mouth, and that's really cool. You can find in whatever it takes to find the honesty in that story. It can look as weird as it needs to, because all that matters is if what you hear later sounds emotionally honest.
Totally. I have no idea what I'm doing with my
I love
body
that.
half the time in the booth. I'm like,
And also,
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry, I swear like a sailor, and I'm trying to keep it under wraps. I apologize to any parents in the audience.
So you talk about these, getting in the vibe and the different things you do. When you're performing, before you perform, also, do you have like a ritual you do, and does it change depending on your character, like to get in a headspace for a romantic scene versus a more like violent role versus an egg, or does it
Burnt
Dancing
paper.
dancing egg?
I make sure I eat before, because you don't want to have a super grumbly tummy, because the mics, especially where we record at Warner Brothers for Apex, they pick up everything. So you want to make sure that you don't wear shoes. If you have to move around, you don't want to wear shoes that are clumpy. You want to make sure to eat. If you do have a rumbly tummy, you want to make sure to have a lot of water.
Rumbly tummy is so
Rumbly
cute.
tummy.
I'm really
If your tummy gurgles,
Go, keep going.
you don't want to wear like very heavy jewelry, because that can get on the mic too. I know Mela has worn some
serious?
some big jewelry that's gotten like some,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, Dutch is like, "What are you doing?"
Dutch, our sound engineer was like, "Can you take off your big piece of jewelry?"
Just lay it to the side.
Yeah. So yeah, you want to make sure that you are, mentally ready as well. Maybe take a few deep breaths, and then you want to make sure that you're in a place where you can have fun and play, because that's the best part of this job is playing and pretending.
Word.
Yeah.
I love warming up in the shower. It's great. The steam is wonderful, and it's one of the few, there's so many things we do to protect our voices, and it's kind of like a big lie, because you'll drink tea and it's great for inflammation in your throat area, but the tea isn't going over your vocal cords, and so it's always like there's only so much it can help, but steam, when you're breathing in hot steam, feels wonderful to me anyway. So I do my whole vocal warm-up in the shower while I'm getting ready. And then I will sing Coheed and Cambria at the top of my lungs while I drive to the studio.
Oh, I want to hear that.
Wait.
Right now. Who, by the way, Claudio Sanchez, higher voice than me, and I hate it, but I love him. Certain roles. I was in this amazing anime called Requiem of the Rose King, which is an anime based around Shakespeare's Richard III. Cool. And they had me voicing both the kid and the adult version of the dude that I played. And so they wanted me, who's like, I'm a husky voice lady. I dip down into tenor range, but I'm not like a baritone dude. So it was an experience. And so my version of this was, I would put on show tunes, and particularly it was like this one track from Jesus Christ Superstar, because
Yes.
it
Which
had the Pharisees meeting.
Nice.
Where they're all commenting on the fact that he's out in the street and they don't like him, and it's like 3 different vocal ranges singing at the same time.
Do it.
No, not on the Bible.
There
though.
has been no shower warm-up today.
I cannot sing that here. But it was one of the lowest singers I've ever heard, and so I would just be like, I sounded probably like an idiot scraping the bottom of my register, just trying to force my vocal range as low as humanly possible so it would be remotely believable. And I think even then they pitched me a little bit to try to make it make sense. I'm still flattered that they wanted me to play that role. But yeah, once in a while you'll have a character where there's just some specific thing you got to do to make it work.
Have I not answered that question?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Was
You
it
don't have to.
rituals or warm-ups? Is that?
Both.
Yeah, either way.
I do a pentacle, I like some smelling salts.
Crystals.
Crystals, no, that's my wife. She's very much the crystal gal. I don't get it. Anyway, I don't really have, like if I'm doing like a different, like a voice mat, like there was the time we did this Harry Potter thing ages ago, long before, anyway. And I did Hermione. And so things like that, like I'll basically ride to work just listening to Emma Watson being interviewed over and over again, just doing the voice. But as far as like the voices that I come up with that bubble up out of my own gut, those just are there. And it's mostly just for me about being in the world of the scene. Yes, though, grumbly tummy.
Yes.
I honestly recently failed at that. I was like, God damn it. And it's inescapable. Especially when you're doing things that are incredibly emotional or whatever, because you're projecting, so you're using your diaphragm sometimes, you're in battle scenes, you're like throwing grenades, you're doing whatever, and it'll be like, grenade. It's like, sorry, I'll take it again. Grenade. And it comes every it's like on a clock almost, like when you're hungry, how the frequency, it's like you must eat, your stomach says. So you got to do that, and also mouth sounds.
Oh yeah, mouth sounds,
Mouth
especially
sounds.
like those of us that do accents in this
Yeah.
game, especially the French accent that I do as
Oh,
Watson.
interesting.
There's so much there's so many mouth sounds that happen from it. So often a little voice actor trick is we'll have one bite of a green apple, and that will really help with the mouth sounds.
Is the pectin? What is it in the green apple? There's
Yeah,
something in the green
something
apple
in
that
the green
basically
apple.
like kills your saliva. Not
So
to
they
get it
always
gross. Don't
have
walk
that
out, guys.
yeah.
I don't want to make it gross. But I'm just, like it's some people like it in ASMR. I don't. I think it's great. It's weird. It's weird. I'm like, I don't need to hear.
I love ASMR.
But I love ASMR. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. However, I'm not like very mouth sound forward for my preferences, to
Can y'all
be fair.
explain a little bit what mouth sounds
Just
are?
the
people-
clicks and the pops that come when you have like a dry mouth. You do not want that on a mic. The mics they use are so sensitive
Yeah.
that, the engineer's like, hey, Erica, could you just have some water?
Yeah.
Can we get you some tea? Sometimes people will just walk in with a green apple.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just, you're like, yeah, okay. Just chewing before your lines,
It's the
so.
equivalent of like if somebody offers you gum, you can always say yes. So if somebody offers you a
100%.
green apple, you
100%.
always
It's the
say
same
yes.
thing, but not with breath.
Yeah.
You have to drink a lot of
with-
water
Yeah.
in order to loosen and
Yeah.
loosen your saliva and just make your system sound good and make your voice sound good. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't drink a lot of water.
Well, fair.
And I was one of them for
Yeah.
a while until I read a book
Yeah.
that pertains to the career I wanted to have that made a point of saying how important it was, and I made a mental note never to make that mistake again. Drink a ton of water, and most importantly, you can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna have a glass of water now,
No.
and then I'll be fine, right? No, because it needs to get into your system and integrate, and so it's about what you're drinking yesterday, not what you're drinking today. So you can't just be like, this is voiceover day, I'm gonna grab a bottle of water. You have to make it your lifestyle to stay the heck hydrated,
Yeah.
so that when you pee, it's pale
There's
and not Mountain Dew colored.
a stand-up comedian who had a whole bit about like going on dates and being like, can you please just hydrate, have some gum, whatever. I don't need your mouth to be sounding like the paint roller in the bottom of the. So just that's the reference to what we're talking about.
I mean, you're gonna get nutritional advice also. Voice acting nutrition.
You actually have to be real healthy to be a voice actor, come to find out.
You're talking about all these different things. And what is the most grueling or taxing? You talk about reaching stuff. Is it, just doing the same stuff, or I know a lot of people talk about when they have to go in for grunt, like
Efforts.
Yeah. What's the most challenging and or annoying part that you still love though, because they love it, but.
We still love our job.
Okay. Until like a year and a half ago, I would have said Dragon Ball. Because anyone that works on the Dragon Ball series, like
Literally the whole show
the whole show,
was, okay.
not everyone's this lucky, but like you want to book your session for Friday afternoon, make it the last thing you do, and then you shut up and don't talk to anyone like until Tuesday. because you're going to be screaming at the top of your lungs. And
Yikes.
we talk about all the ways that performers can protect themselves and learn to support and use their diaphragm. And it doesn't make you immortal. It mitigates. It's like putting on armor. You've got a higher AC. I'm getting gamer on you real quick. You got a higher AC, but the hits still come through, just less. And so it'll mess you up. Most of the characters are screaming constantly if you've ever watched any of the Dragon Ball shows. Now I've got a new one, and it's Record of Ragnarok. Because in Record of Ragnarok, I played a character called Zirofuku. And that entire character was like, not just battle screaming, but like unstable, throat-wrenching, twisty, weird screaming. And it was like, it's the only role I've ever booked. I was so thrilled to get on Dragon Ball Super. It was the only, Record of Ragnarok is the only role I've ever booked where I just went super ham in the booth when I did the audition, because it was like a Saturday and who cares, and I just did something weird. And then when I got the booking email, I was like, shit. Oh no.
Yeah, that's another voice actor tip is don't do a voice in an audition that you can't sustain in an
Honestly.
actual session. Because an audition could be 2 to 10 minutes, but a session could be an hour to 4 hours. So if you're gonna, I know people that have ruined their voices by doing that. And you know, if you're gonna ruin your voice, then you're not gonna have a career to keep going. So that's definitely important.
It's
Feeling
interesting.
targeted right now.
No, not you. I'm not talking about you. You haven't ruined your voice.
No, you
I'm
haven't.
talking about the people that really have ruined their voices.
To their credit, though, the director, Mike Schneider, was just a saint. He overbooked me, gave us lots of time every session, and not every gig is willing to do this. But we would measure 4 times and cut once, so we would preview it. I'd listen to what the
good.
character was doing.
That's good.
And then we'd kind of mark the tempo, so I'd kind of know exactly how I'm supposed to deliver this line. And then we'd play it again, and I would like soft mark the melody and how I want to say it. And we'd do like 3, 4, sometimes even 5 previews, and then I'd be like, Mike, let's do this. And we'd try to nail it in one, because every take mattered in order to keep me from dying.
It's interesting you say that you like doing creature voices. I don't like to. My agent once sent me an audition for it, and I was like, no. So here's the thing. I know, well, that's also just like voice, gravel, things like that, and I can do that, but like speaking, I'm not gonna even try, because that's definitely something I don't wanna sustain, and it's largely because I have a horrendous gag reflex. And you know, like how far back you kind of have to go in your throat and kind of gargle saliva and be really, like, I've done some deaths that 100% made me gag in the booth. I won't get into which game it was, but it had so many different deaths and like ripping out of throats and different, and it's like, could you just have some water and just like put it in, and then if you could just be choking on your blood, and then what's happening is all the tendons are coming out of the side. So what we need is sort of more like this sound and then that sound and then refresh, and we need about 5 of those in a row, okay? So like that's challenging for me. But in the early days, I used to be like I was like, oh my God, the efforts, this is so fun. I literally used to do fire death for friends. Because I know, like
That's the worst.
like a dumbass. So like people would be like, oh my God, like what is that like? And I'd be like, oh my God, it's so cool. And here's what it sounds like if I'm being like burned alive. It's amazing. But like that is like the most intense screaming that you do. Like you don't want to do that just without being paid for it, essentially, is what I'm saying. It's not a good idea. And to this day, like literally in the booth, I have to take one can, they call them cans, headphones, one off if I'm doing efforts, because what they do, the engineer will dial the sound down, they'll dial the gain down so that when you're not spiking and it's like blowing out the thing, like they want to get the sound, so they have to like turn everything down. But when they turn everything down, it's also quieter in your headphones. So if you have them both on, it sounds like you're not screaming that loud.
Oh boy.
So what happens to me is I end up screaming louder.
Oh no.
I've had my chest hurt. I've like left sessions, so I have to like it's so ridiculous. But yes, to this day, my wife is like, you now laugh like an old man. Like if I laugh really hard, if you get me to laugh really hard, there is a whistle at the back of my throat as though I have been smoking for 60 years. So FYI.
So not vocal stress, but something that's hard for me in Apex sometimes when I record is the French accent has a lot of the and the sound. And so sometimes they'll give us they'll give me these electricity puns with all these R's in them. Oh, no. And I'll have to do the same line maybe 20 times. And the poor writers, like Ashley, our head writer, is like, oh, I'm so sorry, Justine. Like, what can I do to fix this? And I was like, no, I'll get it right. Just give me time. And they're very kind and they give us as much time as we need. But sometimes, as much as I practice it beforehand, it's in the moment when you're in character and you've got the adrenaline of the session. Sometimes it just takes time and you have to give yourself grace and just remember that you're trying your hardest and they're patient. I mean, if they weren't patient, it wouldn't be a fun job, and they'll let you keep going. And sometimes they will change it if it doesn't sound right, and that's the great thing of having the writers in the room. But yeah, that's probably the hardest thing for me with Apex is the airs. The airs. I'm currently at the top of my game, get it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But a lot more R's in some of the lines.
So, I'm glad you talk about having the different accents and the throat ripping. What's the
throat ripping?
We're all over the place today. What's the
Those are the best directions, by the way, when you're in those sessions.
What's the weirdest?
The
I don't know what
best
tendons being ripped out of my
Was
throat.
that the next?
Yeah, the question is what's the
No,
weirdest?
those are the best.
direction?
When you're in those effort sessions, it's the weirdest conversation. Like the two things I think of, one of them is more mature than the other, but
Sure.
the effort sessions, particularly when you're getting slaughtered, and the notes you get from your director, and then the other one is if you do anything remotely
SSUL?
mature. That's has to be a very safe space because you're saying very funny things when you're getting directing notes. But I love the idea that you're in the booth, you're like creating art together, and the director's like, okay, we need it to sound like you're being strangled a little tighter, and maybe get like a little more blood in your mouth while you're saying the line. And that's such a take that out of context and play that back in a court. It's very strange.
Oh, don't even get the actor Googles. Like the things that sometimes you have to Google as an actor is absolutely insane. I'm like, with people tracking things, I'm like, waterboarding. Okay. All right. Okay.
I was in the game Spyro, the new one, and I had to play about 50 baby dragons hatching. And there's obviously dragons, unfortunately.
I'm like for that laugh.
50.
Dragons are unfortunately not real, and so there's nothing to go off of, and so there's no research you can really do because
you're just so fucking earnest. And I just love. Sometimes I don't hear what you're saying until a few seconds later, and I'm like, did she just fucking say?
There's no research you can do because every dragon and every different property is very different, and these were babies, and so you can listen to maybe some other baby hatchlings of other kinds of animals, but again, it's imagination and really committing to being a baby dragon and.
I love the egg theme.
Yeah. And that was a totally different session.
Flaming egg too. Yeah. Well, actually, that was. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. This is ancient, and I wasn't paid for this, but way back in the day, don't look for it.
But do.
Way back in the day, I used to do fan dub stuff, like machinima stuff, if anyone knows what that is. And I remember working on this indie project once where I showed up, and a lot of this was you just record at home. This particular one, I had a director with me. It was like, whatever, we'll get on, I think it was like a Skype call, and I'll walk you through it. And when I got into the session, the guy was like, so we had everybody had to quit the project.
Oh.
do you think you can take a swing at as many other characters as possible and see
gosh.
how many of them you can do? And I ended up voicing every character in this
Wow.
little short. Every voice is my voice. But
Fantastic.
it came out of nowhere. I showed up to do one role, and it was like, yeah, so everyone else quit.
Sheer necessity and
Do you think
panic.
you can save me?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this has a weird direction so much as a weird circumstance.
You have to have all these different personalities today. I bet your therapist loved that day. Like, hey, I have all these different people. Let's
Like,
talk about
honestly,
it.
though, you will be brought in for like one character. You'll be cast for a character, and then inevitably they'll be like, because they have you, they'll be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, could you do, like, I've been brought in for just like a fully legit adult, maybe someone who's really rough around the edges. And then they'll be like, okay, so we have this 6-year-old girl. We're hoping that you can, and I'm like, I've just been doing this voice for the last, and now you want me to pitch? Where am I going? How young is the 6? How young is the 6? I know how young, but I don't know, just, okay,
They're
you
an
know.
old soldier.
Yeah,
I know, right?
that's a thing is that per most of our contracts, they are allowed to use us for up to 3 voices. So that's so great if you can do multiple voices, not just your own voice.
Sure.
And if you're flexible, then you are more likely to be hired because they know that, oh, we can get this person, for one person for 3 voices. So it really helps to be able to do multiple voices in voiceover.
It can be fun,
Yeah.
and then sometimes you're really taken by surprise.
Yeah.
As long as you do them in the right order, because usually if
Yeah.
you like the louder or the gruffer, the growlier voice you do, you start to, I don't know if your voice boxes are different than mine, but I find that you tend to be able to live in that space longer, but you start losing the ability to do the
Well,
other
yeah,
things.
because you're dialed into that particular character. Your voice is sort of settled into that sound. Like
So if you
there's just-
start with the higher voices,
Exactly.
the softer voices, you work your way towards the screaming, you do the set on fire stuff last, and then
Last.
once in a while you'll be in for a session where you'll just finish being set on fire, and then they're like, by the way, can you be this tiny little
Well, that's
teeny
somebody
Yeah,
who's not
fairy
directing.
character?
Well,
Usually,
And it's like,
if the
they
director
can't.
is kind and understands voice actors,
Yeah.
they will
They can
have you do
plan.
the screaming and the dying at the end.
and also wants to get the material for
Exactly,
the day. Like if
exactly.
they're not, like you have to be an experienced director and yes, kind, but also be aware that human beings will blow out their voice.
Yeah.
Like our voices will be pitched down several octaves if we do depths like that at the top of a session. And they're like, okay, that's what you want, but we might be done in an hour. I don't know.
I have one more question, and we'll take some questions from y'all if y'all want to start lining up behind the microphone there. Just out of my own curiosity, Apex is an ever-evolving game, new characters all the time. How often do you have to go back and like, is it every month, every few months?
We usually go in once every 3 months.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's usually for 2 to 4 hours. And in the beginning, it was like a good 4-hour chunk. And we usually record by ourselves. There have been some times where I've done a session with Johnny Young, who plays Crypto, but otherwise, it's almost always by ourselves. Yeah, because everybody's so busy and it's easier to just have a solo session.
It's interesting when you're like when you're in a game that's like a live service game that continues to record on a really set schedule, it becomes one of those things where like most of the work we do is very secretive. Like there are a lot of, we sign a lot of contracts, we can't talk about it because that's just how it works. But when you work on something like this, there's like a weird flexible territory where everybody knows you're going in to record for it. You just can't
Right.
tell them what you record.
Right.
So I don't know about if you guys do this or if I'm playing with fire, but like, I can tell like I stream, and so I can tell my community like, it's Apex Day. They're like, what are you recording? I'm like, none of your business. You'll find out in 6 months. But it is cool that it's something that you can kind of almost like share with the fans now that like you can kind of, I can post the photo of me with like the Warner Brothers water tower above me and be like, it's Apex Day. And that's exciting, even if you're not going to find out for half a year what we were actually working on.
What's your question?
Gotta jump.
Just talk into it. No,
It'll pick you up. You don't have to send it to us.
I'm teasing.
I know you play Sapphire, Sapphire in
Yeah.
Steven Universe, and
Yeah.
I watched the shit out of that show, and I really liked it.
Look, even the kids are swearing.
Welcome to Texas.
Do you have, like, because Garnet is one of my favorite characters, and so whenever I
Awesome.
learned that because you're kind of part of Garnet, because it's Ruby and
I
Sapphire.
am part of Garnet. That's right.
Do you have, like, a favorite line that you've done as Sapphire?
I mean, probably just the song in the very beginning. Love.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know you did that, actually.
Yeah.
But that's actually really cool.
So cute.
Awesome. Thank you. That was a great question.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else have
Thank
any
you.
questions?
Aw, sweetheart.
Now you just play that song clip every time.
I have a quick question. What was y'all's like favorite like blooper reel that y'all have done, or like blooper line that you've messed up like really badly, but it was kind of funny?
Ooh,
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I mess up all the time.
Honestly, I'm such an obnoxious perfectionist, is the truth of the matter. So I don't like. I feel like I would be. I would feel so shamed. I messed up that badly, or it has receded so far into the background of my brain. Someone else might be able to tell me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably like pronunciation things, but we have a great team that helps us. Yeah, I don't know all of the electricity things, and I don't know all the weapons. Yeah, probably just pronouncing things wrong and then being told, yeah, go for it. I got something. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really a blooper so much.
Yeah.
It's just me getting punchy in a session. But I was like Bangaloring, and we were talking about different zones, and I was like, we're going into that zone, we're going into this zone, this zone. And then at some point I just started saying Cal zone.
Going to the council.
Going to the Cal zone. And our Ashley, our head writer, just couldn't, she to this day, should we like the Cal zone, or are we going to the...
Awesome.
So that.
I don't bloop that much. I just bloop. Sometimes I say the words wrong,
like
and then
it.
my version of a blooper is I just shout the F, like an F-bomb. I'm trying to think.
From now on, that's what I'm just saying in my own life if I make a
Blooping.
mistake. Bloop.
Bloop it. Gosh, let's see. We had a couple of in-jokes when we were recording, though, and it just has to do with, like, fun phrasing. So, like, because Catalyst is a particularly witchy character in Apex Legends, she speaks like she's divining, like, the location of the next, POI or where the teams are, and so we would have things where I would say, like, I'm centering my gaze there, centering my gaze here, and we're centering the gaze.
One must center the
We love
gaze.
that one.
Yes.
Endless.
It's mostly
Endless
punchiness. We just get punchy
humor to
in
be
the
found
booth,
in that.
you know.
I'll tell you a fun booking story, though, about how I had no business booking this role, which is kind of under the realm of bloopers. So they sent out the original auditions for Catalyst, and what they'll usually do, and a lot of auditions do this, is they'll have a breakdown of like how old they are, what they look like, what their personality is, maybe a little backstory, and sometimes there'll be references. So it'll be, you'll get auditions, and I don't know what this is, the industry standard is like, it's a Han Solo type, or it's, something to go off of. And references for Catalyst were Bayonetta and Maleficent.
Maleficent.
Love it.
So good.
Amazing characters, and what I noticed immediately was they're both English. And so I wrote back to my agent and I said, okay, so, they're looking for a very specific type of actor, they're looking for LGBTQ plus representation, and so I know that the talent pool that's submitting for this character is gonna be smaller, and so I get in my head about that. So I email my agent back and I'm like, okay, so I know you sent this to me, but like, are you kind of really hoping for somebody who's English? And he's like, I'll check with them. And he writes back and he said, they said, not at all. Do whatever you're comfortable with. They want to hear options. And then I did a really smart person thing, and I didn't trust that answer. I'm like, no, but they're secretly hoping for English. Like, that's probably, right? You know, they're being polite, but like, they really want English. And so my original audition for Catalyst was a really bad. I spent like $500 coaching and didn't get anywhere. And so I gave them this awful, like, you know, Samadhi's in retrograde, that's bad news for them, was like the original Catalyst audition. And somehow it got me a callback.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I got into the callback and they're like, just do you though. Like somehow I gave them
Nice,
enough to
but-
go on that they're like, we want to hear more from this girl, but like, not what you did, do something. Give us not that,
Thank
give
you
us
for
what's
your
actually you.
answers for this question.
The calzones.
All right. That's about all our time. If you want to plug anything you have coming up, talk about any projects, anything.
We can never talk about projects that are upcoming. My latest things are Battlefield 6 and Borderlands 4, so those are out. So I can say those are out.
I'm in a new Nickelodeon Junior show called Mr. Crocodile. It comes out this week. It's for little kids, but I'm sure adults will like it too.
Is it cute? I'm going to have my kids watch
adorable.
it. I need to be watching you.
Aw.
I watched Nicholas on Spidey and His Amazing Friends. I'm all like,
Nice.
Webster, I know you.
Yeah, I play 2 little twin boys and a little 5-year-old girl. It's really fun. It's about a crocodile and his best friend. That's a little girl. It's adorable.
Love it.
Yeah.
Most recently, I'll be back, hopefully not dead yet, for whenever the next season of the Rurouni Kenshin remake hits Netflix as Kamatari, one of the 7 swords of Shishio. I'm in the Legend of Heroes series as Kiliko Ruran, so if you play any of like the Trails Through Daybreak, Trails Through the Sky, I seem to keep coming back as the character in that. And I'm on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Melizan, which you can come to my booth and come grab it. I stream 6 days a week for hours on end.
So, and speaking of booths, so here we're about to walk back in there. They're in that back corner. They have all sorts of really cool prints you can get, Nessies, Funkos, all sorts of really cool stuff. Come by, say hi, buy some stuff. Thank y'all so much for doing this. It's always fun. It's a pleasure. Thank y'all for attending.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to come
Yeah.
up to us at our booths. We're super happy to chat.
Just sitting there, you know.
So lonely.
Thank y'all again. so
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks so much,
Thank you.
Lance.
I love that we have 3 completely different types of microphone setups. Like, this is like the evolution of the microphone.
To be fair, I do like sound for fans. I don't really do a lot of sound.
But it's like that, what's that evolution of man drawing, except it's like the microphone, like now it's like a fish and then it gets up on the shore.